Hey guys, so if you're watching this, I want to let you know we had a little bit of technical difficulties on the YouTube visual side, so you're going to be jumping in mid-podcast, and if you want to hear the beginning, which you absolutely should, the link is below for the audio. We're yelling at each other, it's fine. Sorry for the inconvenience, but if you are watching this right now, make sure you like, subscribe, do everything you can on YouTube. You can watch all of our beautiful faces. Let's jump into the podcast.
That
4 to
happens
72 was
that happens
amazing.
like twice a year, if that. So like, why are they trying to get away from it? It's just dumb.
I guess, players getting injured, and I understand that, but the 2-point conversion shootout is stupid. It was dumb enough to change it to you have to go for 2 in the second overtime, let alone this.
All right, go back to the news, please. All right, so I don't care about Gronk setting a world record at Arizona's catching a football out of a 600-foot helicopter.
I like helicopters.
Really? Mm-hmm. You fly around the city often. Didn't you say you had a hookup? You could get me to fly around the city?
That was 2019.
For like 150, you can fly from the East River to airports.
Really?
Yeah. Sometimes it's cheaper than a car.
Why do you know that?
Because if you literally call an Uber and you pull it up, it'll be like, here are your options.
Uber chopper.
You can do
Uber
it.
Chopper's
You're only
awesome.
allowed one bag, though.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's 150, too.
I did
it's not
have
bad.
I don't know if I like the camera here. I can't see you.
Well, it's a work in progress. Don't worry. I know.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, no, I'm sure I could get you a hookup.
Okay. Shout out to whoever it is. You want to talk about draft? Or you want to do some lists? Let's do some lists. Let's do some more lists.
No.
I want to read some more lists.
Okay, fine. Read some more lists, but
Okay, yeah, do your thing. So last week I gave out my top. I'm sorry. You okay?
you always slap the table. So I feel
What
like
if you
that's
took
just
the sass out of your tone right now? You ever think about that?
No, I didn't.
Take the sass out
You
of your
take
tone.
the sass out of your
You
tone.
Take the sass out of your tone. Check your tone when you're talking to me,
You check your tone,
woman.
man.
Been working out, you know.
I know. Congrats.
Thank
How
you
many
very
days
much.
in a row now?
2.
Let's
How you
go.
feeling?
2. Awful.
What time are you having to get up to
My
do that?
shoulders are 5:30. My shoulders
Yeah.
are killing me, and
What
it was
time
leg
do you
day
normally
today.
get up? Oh, leg day's the best. Right, Katie?
Yeah.
Work on that ass.
Do it. Leg day.
Leg day. You want that popping ass.
Oh my God!
What?
I didn't realize I had 2 frat boys beside me. They were just
Leg day's
telling me to
best.
pop that ass.
Yeah.
I mean, if you got it, you got it. If you don't, sorry.
I never had an ass, even when I was
Not
in
if,
shape.
if you do leg day, do some hip thrusts maybe.
I mean, you got some calves, though. I'll tell
I
you
do.
that.
Good-looking
you have
calf
some nice
muscles.
calves.
Yeah, I have fantastic.
People
calf
that were
muscles.
making fun of that photo, they didn't realize you have great calves.
I have the calves of a 24-year-old long
You
jumper.
have
I
great calves.
Beautiful calf muscles.
Yes, you do.
That's my best muscle. That and my penis.
Oh my god.
I don't think that's a muscle.
I don't think penis is muscle. I think it's body part.
Okay, then that's my.
No, I
All
think-
right, I'm gonna look it up.
there's a bone in there,
there's
obviously.
definitely a
There's a
muscle.
bone.
I know, but there's
I think there's muscle around the bone.
there's
The
muscle 'cause
penis
you
is
can-
not a muscle.
But you can flex it though.
The penis
It's
is
an
a
organ.
kind of sponge that fills with blood when a man is sexually excited.
Oh,
blood
God.
builds up inside 2 cylinder-shaped
There's not a
chambers,
bone in a
Stop.
penis.
causing the penis to
There's
swell
not a
and
bone in there?
stiffen.
There's not a.
What's it called? A boner.
Because it becomes
You
a
know,
bone.
there's not a bone in your dick.
I have a bone in mine. I need to get checked
But
out.
why can you flex it then? That's
Yeah,
a muscle.
flex
It's
it.
not a
When they
muscle.
flex.
Yes.
Do you know somebody that flexes his penis?
Oh, I know what they're saying. Yeah. You can make it move
can
a
make
little.
it
Yeah,
go.
Yeah,
make
but
it
that's
move
just
a
an
little.
appendage.
No,
That's an
you
appendage.
can no.
No, you send some more blood in that
Yes.
bad boy. Yeah.
That's the
Like
worst.
that.
Was that the medical definition of a penis? That's the worst definition
Yeah,
I've ever heard.
from the NHS UK,
A
which
sponge that fills with blood?
the penis is a kind of sponge that fills with blood
I mean,
when
as
a
a woman,
man
do you
is
even have
sexually
sex
excited.
anymore? You hear that?
Yeah,
Gross.
the penis is a
I do
blood.
don't like the idea that it's a sponge, but I mean, whatever's inside of it doesn't matter as long as it works. Yeah, see? I don't understand how you
Everyone
can, if it's not a
knows, like-
muscle, like you can't, how can you?
But that's not flexing. That's
I think it is
Like,
flexing.
twitch- it's
my
twitching.
arm isn't a muscle, but I'm moving it up and down.
Is the penis a muscle? Here's how dick flexing works.
Yeah, see? Hard-hitting journalism.
Yeah.
We need to add like a NSFW.
Oh, yeah.
How far did we make it today without talking about penises?
You brought it up,
Probably
not
a
me.
new record. No, Jack brought it up.
No,
So you
you
compared
brought it up.
to
You said
sex.
it's your best muscle.
I did?
Yes.
Yes, it was. Yeah, you said your
Just
best
like you said
muscle's your
creative at the
calf.
beginning of the
I
podcast.
didn't
Outside
say
of
creative.
your
I did bring
penis.
up the penis.
You
You're
did. You did.
Okay, so
how did we-
last week I gave out the top 10, my top 10 programs in college football.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to try to do them from memory. They were 1 Alabama, 2 Ohio State, 3 Clemson, 4 was Georgia, 5 was Oklahoma, 6 was LSU, 7 was Notre Dame, 8 was Wisconsin, 9 was Florida, and 10 was Oregon. So I almost did it. Did you see that? I almost did the whole thing. I had to look at Oregon. So those are my 10 programs, and I stand by them. Number one, before you
No, I'm not going to argue with you.
before you argue with me, I
Why
want
am
to address
I
a couple of arguments I've received on Twitter.
Wait, hold on. Preface. What does top programs mean to you?
The top programs right now.
By winning percentage?
The best programs in college football.
Just the best programs.
Those to me are the 10 most those are the best programs in college
consistent
football
winning was what you were about to say.
right now. So it's just whatever I want.
Okay, so
top 10,
whatever you want. Okay.
Those are the top 10 programs in the country right now. And some of the arguments I received a lot. Clemson should be over Ohio State. I will not argue against that. Clemson has 2 national titles to Ohio State's 1 over the last few years. That's fine. I just think Ohio State can do it with multiple coaches, and Clemson's a one-coach program. So that's why I separated them. They're basically tied at 2. If you argue that, fine. Georgia received a lot of hate there. I just think they haven't broken through and won their national title yet, but I think they're right there. They're on the green. They're getting gimme putts. They're just not holding them yet. Oklahoma at 5, very, very good program, just not good enough to win playoff games. 6 LSU would be way higher if they had any consistency. They win the national title and then they suck. They win the national title and then they suck. Plus, don't get me started on all the off-the-field stuff. 7, Notre Dame, and this one received a lot of hate. Everybody's like, Notre Dame, you're just falling in the national media trap. If you think Notre Dame's not a top 10 program in this country, you're just being either a hater or a dumbass. Because objectively, last 5 years win totals, last 3 years win totals, last 10 years win totals, they played in 2 playoffs and a national championship game over the last 10 years. They are easily a top 10 program. I could argue they should be over 7, but you cannot argue in any facet that Notre Dame is not a top 10 program in this country right now. Wisconsin, I just think is the most consistent. Florida, probably the program of the moment. Florida might be the one I would take out, and then Oregon is very consistent as well. So what are your beefs with this?
So I just wrote down the consistent thing that you said was win totals. So if you're going by that, I'm not
going strictly by win totals.
Well, no, but you're saying, Wisconsin, like the win totals, and first of all, LSU to me, definitely the national championship for sure, but all the off the field stuff is just so shitty. I can understand people having a problem with that. First of all, I know everyone was like, oh, you're going to try to argue A&M. I agree with your 1 through 7. I agree with Notre Dame. I think that they should definitely be there for a multitude of reasons. But with Wisconsin, Florida, and Oregon, I can make the argument that A&M should be over them. But I'm not going to do that right away. I'm going to make the argument that Texas should be on this list. And I know that people
Are you high?
People were like, she's just going to be a homer. Like, I'm going to make the argument that I think A&M should be there, but I'm really going to make the argument that the Texas Longhorns should be there. Because, for multiple reasons. One, when I look at the top programs, I look at the most profitable programs. I look at how much money is coming in.
Who gives a shit about profitable programs?
Recruits, boosters,
I ain't
facilities.
making money.
Facilities, no. But
They paying me?
I'm saying when you look at top programs, it's how successful they are.
Isn't Tennessee the most profitable program in the country?
But I'm gonna do more than that.
Okay.
I'm gonna do more than that. All right. So Forbes' most valuable teams, the most valuable teams in college football.
Nothing you're telling me is.
Hold on. Well,
Okay, I will. You're right. I will.
Okay.
A, hold on. You shut up. B, you're right.
When you look at the top programs in college football, winning absolutely does come into play. There's no doubt about that. You can have a team that has never won anything. What are you doing? What are you doing? What's he doing? What's he doing?
I just want the pen.
What's he doing?
I want the pen.
Okay.
To make notes.
You're going to make notes?
Yes.
Okay. Would you like a piece of paper?
I just grabbed one.
Okay. All right.
Oh, my God.
The University of Texas.
Shut up.
Not only is the second most valuable team in the country, according to Forbes. Forbes knows what they're talking about. They are also the highest grossing program in the country, which means that they're not only making the most money, they're also keeping the most money. They have been a top 10 recruiting class for fucking ever.
Oh, my God.
They have their own network. When you are a program that has your own national network, you are one of the top programs in the country. I don't care what anybody says. They have the Longhorn Network. Now, is it a profitable network? No. But what other team has their own complete entity based around a national network underneath Walt Disney? The Texas Longhorns with the Longhorn Network. They should absolutely be up there. They've played for a national championship twice in the last 20 years. They've won one. They have Heisman Trophy winners. They have some of the most iconic wins. And not to mention, they also are not a shitty team. So when you look at what Texas has done in the Big 12, they ran A&M out because they had their own network. They continue to bring in the most money, and they're only winning, 7, 8, 9 games a year. They're getting rid of their head coaches, but they still bring in the top recruits. They still bring in the best facilities, and they continue to bring in the money. And they're the University of Texas. They should absolutely be a top 10 program.
Who are you taking out?
I would take out Wisconsin for Texas.
I think Wisconsin's a different case because Wisconsin is never going to threaten the top 7. 8 is their ceiling, but I feel like they reach 8 because they play for 8. They they have 11 10-win seasons since 2000. They're very consistent. They're pretty much going to play for the Big Ten championship every other year, at least by average. I just think they're so consistent. They've earned a spot in the top 10. It's the consistency that Texas lacks.
Whenever coaching jobs come open, and we all talk about the best coaching jobs, like
Right.
who's always at the top of the list? Texas.
I think that just got disproved a little bit.
No, I mean I think Texas had one of the best hires, but every time Texas,
It's a good hire. I think it's a very
Who do you think's a better hire?
a very competent hire.
But
But
every
I feel
time-
like if Alabama came open, I don't think they're getting an offensive coordinator from anybody. If Ohio State, they did hire from internally last time. If Ohio State goes out, I don't think they're getting somebody's offensive coordinator. I don't think they're getting a rising head coach.
but I think that
Texas got somebody's offensive coordinator.
But
Alabama's.
every time Texas, the job is even remotely on the market, everyone's like, it's going to be Urban Meyer, it's going to be Nick Saban.
Right.
Like, well, that's because it's one of the
But
top
the
programs
last
in the country.
the last couple times they've hung out a sign for help wanted, they got Alabama's offensive coordinator and Houston's head coach.
Houston's head coach was not a good hire. I agree with that.
He
but,
was the most coveted hire, though, at the time.
But I mean, don't you agree with whenever the coaching carousel happens, Texas is always
Before
in the
that, who'd
conversation
they get? They got Florida's defensive coordinator.
But I'm saying that we talk about the Texas job opening all the time. If the Wisconsin job came open right now, I can guarantee you it would not be talked about as much.
You know why the Wisconsin
as-
job's not going to come open?
Because they're consistent.
Because they're a very good program that stays where they need to stay.
Which is where we're having
mean,
the difference is the
Brett,
consistency
there's
wins.
someone left for Arkansas.
Yeah, Brett Bielema
And
left
they didn't.
Wisconsin.
Did they miss a beat?
No, they didn't. But
Not
I'm,
in-
But
not
I
even
know,
a little bit.
But I'm saying that when you look at the top programs in the country, if you're only going off of wins in the last 10 years, that's fine. But everything that I just mentioned about Texas, they're at the top of all of that. They
I
have some
think
of the
if
best.
If you're naming all-time programs,
It's not even all time.
well, but if you're naming the top 10 most important programs in college football, yeah, I would agree. Michigan's probably up there too.
Michigan is up there, but even just
But
right now,
I'm not.
Texas,
I'm
Texas
saying
is
the top
only-
10 college football programs right now. Texas is not one of the top 10 programs right now.
I think Texas is one of the biggest players in college football because they
You
run
said-
the Big 12.
You said they're one of the most valuable,
The
and they
number
gross
2
the most
most
money.
valuable.
They're grossing the most money,
highest,
right?
yes. They
okay.
also have-
If I'm a fan, why do I give a single solitary
because
fuck
when
how
you
much
have,
money they're making?
Because when you have that much money, you can then put it into facilities to get better recruits.
Okay.
Facilities matters,
Fair
best
enough.
programs.
And then you also said they've had top 10 recruiting forever, to which I say, no, they haven't.
I guess in 2018 they didn't.
No, they haven't. They've been lied to. They've been ranked up there.
But
they've been put up there.
Or maybe
But no,
2018
if their
they did.
recruiting was so good, they wouldn't be on their 4th head coach since Mac Brown.
I don't think that you can, and again, I'm going to get to A&M, but I don't think that you can look at a program which has the history that Texas does, and they've won in the 2000s. They won a national title. You have Vince Young. You had the whole run with Mac Brown. You look at the network. You look at the money. You look at the facilities. You look at the recruits, and you look at the fact that they haven't been that shitty of a program. You have to put them in the top 10. You have
Would
to.
you rather be Notre Dame or Texas right now?
Texas.
That's insanity.
I would.
I don't think that's that crazy of a take from her.
I feel like you're
I-
saying.
I
feel like
nodded.
I feel like because of their potential to be a top 10 program and jump up in there whenever they get it right, but they don't have it right. They haven't gotten it right in over a decade.
I still think that they have the more building blocks in
I am-
place
am
than
I
Notre
taking
Dame.
crazy
Would you
pills?
rather-
You're-
would
all
you
three of
rather-
you are on her side on this?
Would you rather you have the opportunity to make the same exact money at Notre Dame or Texas? You're a coach. Where are you going to go?
Texas.
That I don't know.
What about athletic director?
Texas.
What about I mean?
You're not asking
By
me.
the way, I want this out on the internet so all the Texas fans will be.
Nothing you're asking me is really about the quality of the football team.
But I would say there's a direct correlation between.
I would rather
Coaching
also
job.
Would I rather have the Michigan job or Wisconsin job? I'd much rather have the Michigan job. Wisconsin's
Yeah.
a better program right now. I mean that's
because they're winning more.
Yes, thank
Right,
you.
right. No, I
Thank
know,
you.
but I'm saying
I
that
think
from
it
we're
seems like
arguing
you're
two different
talking
things.
Team versus program.
Yes.
That's why I say right now. That's why I say
All
that
right.
going into 2021, where these programs are, this is where they are.
As the team's winning, again, which is okay. That's your list. I'm going off of the program itself, where I would rather be. And obviously, Wisconsin's winning more than Texas right now. I would still much rather be at Texas.
I think the easiest way to answer this question is where, like, you're the coach. Where would you
Right.
rather be?
But
Texas.
everything you were saying about Texas has been in place since Mac Brown left, and they still can't hire a good coach. They don't get good players. They get soft players. They haven't had a good
So
defensive.
you'd rather
forever.
go to Notre Dame?
I think it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other. Frankly, I
Okay,
think
then
And that's totally
that
fine.
depends on
That's
money.
fine. But
I'd rather go
depends
to.
on money. It
Would I rather be
depends
at
on
Georgia
money.
or
And when
Texas? I'd rather be at Georgia.
You just said it depends on money. So it's like when you asked me earlier why they make so much more money, it matters because you can pay coaches more if you make more money.
But again, every time they go to hire a coach, they hire Tom Herman or Steve
But
Sarkisian.
they
They're not getting
but as
Urban
a-
Myers. They're
as-
not. Alabama had a coach opening a couple of years ago. They got the Miami Dolphins head
Okay,
coach.
so then here
Yeah, but he
is
was-
yeah.
No, he was in year one.
Yeah, but also if you want to play that game, what was Alabama doing the 4 years prior? The 4 coaches prior to Nick Saban, they were going.
They
through.
were getting
was
it
Franchi
wrong.
on-
They were
yeah,
getting
they were
it-
getting it wrong. So Alabama had Bear Bryant and then a bunch of fuck ups, right?
Not really a bunch of fuck ups. So there were some fuck ups in there, but Gene Stallings was definitely not a
Okay,
fuck
Gene
up.
Saul. Okay, but then they went Francione,
Price,
yeah,
Dubose,
Dubois,
yeah,
and then
Shula,
and then they got Saban.
right.
So
Texas is going from Mac Brown, bunch of fuck ups. It seems they weren't that bad.
they weren't that bad. They just
But
but they
they were
weren't
some
they
fuck-ups.
weren't
They
caliber,
should have
Texas
done
caliber,
better.
right?
And then maybe this is the one. Maybe Sark's the one.
Every single year, one of the biggest jokes in college football is Texas is back. Is Texas back?
But
Is
the-
Texas back? Is Texas
We're-
back? We wouldn't be
the
asking that
team-
question
no,
if they.
the team, the program is still a top 10 program because of everything surrounding it. Now, I also make the argument with money, it does matter because when you go about 90 minutes away from Austin, Texas, College Station, Texas, they went out and got Jimbo Fisher, who won a national title at Florida State. Why? Because of how much money
Let me
they
ask you a
have.
question. Again, there's a good one. Texas A&M had a coaching job out there, and they went and got Florida State's head coach and won a national title.
Right.
Texas keeps getting.
I'm not disagreeing with you on that. I still
Texas
all,
keeps
all of
getting
those
going to the
things-
fridge and getting leftovers, whereas Texas A&M got a 5-star meal.
But so then, why wouldn't you put A&M right now in that list? Right now, I'm
It's
not
only
saying they're not a
because
story program.
I would have them at like 11 or 12. The only reason A&M is not in there right now is they got to do it more than 1 year. I think, I'm bullish on A&M. I think they're going to be a great program. I think they're going to be a 10, 11 win team this year. Once they do that, I think they're a top 10 program in this country. But right now, it's only one great season. And
you're looking at so Dan Mullen, you're putting Florida there.
Florida's the one I would take out. Florida's the one I didn't love. Florida had a good year last year, but Florida has a great coaching situation right now, and Florida has proven over the last 20 years when they get the right coach and when everything's going, they've won 2 national titles over the last 15 years. I mean, Florida is always they are always a threat. They're always right there. Jim McElwain sank them. Mullen's building them right back up, and I think they're in great shape. And Florida A&M is really a toss-up. It's 50-50, but Florida having done it in recent times gives them the edge to me. But I could be dissuaded.
And that is understandable because, again, A&M hasn't won anything since 1939. I get, they won the Big 12 championship in 1998. They had a Heisman Trophy winner in 2012. I get that. But when you look at A&M right now, if we're going off of top 10 programs right now, and again, I think Texas should definitely be up there, which is why I made that argument first. A&M is the most valuable team in college football, according to Forbes.
I
the
think
most valuable.
I don't care about that at all.
But you should, because that's how they could go out and get Jimbo Fisher for $75 million.
Yeah, but when you do it, you do it. That's
when you
fine.
make more money, you can spend more money.
I don't care about money. I watch games on Saturday. I don't give a fuck who's making money.
But your players care about money because they care about the coolest facilities. They care about the coolest amenities. They care about jerseys. They care about branding. They care about all of that. So as a fan,
They care if they're on TV.
I care
if they're
about the
on their
result
TV.
on the field, and those are the 10 best programs having results on the
that's
field right
fine.
now.
And that is fine. I'm saying that money does come into play if you're a recruit, because if you go to Oregon right now and you see, like, Nike is Oregon, right? Oregon is Nike. They're not even the most valuable teams, which is crazy to me. But if you go to Oregon as a player, you fucking love the facilities there. I would make every facility in college football is cool, but the more money you have, the cooler facilities that you can have. And players care about that.
Just make the top 10 list, the top 10 money programs.
I think there's a combo.
There's
of
a
it.
combo
yeah,
of it.
Yeah. She's not
I'm
saying
talking
Texas
about
is number one.
on-field
No.
results. I'm talking about
Right, and
on-field
I'm
results.
talking about the most profitable
Every single year,
versus-
the biggest joke in college football are the Texas Longhorns. We joke about them. We say,
No,
oh, are they back?
We
Are
know
they
the
back?
number one joke.
And as soon as they lose to Kansas State, or as soon as they lose to
team
Baylor,
versus program. That's where we're having a difference. Because it's like Tennessee. Like Big T out there was like, well, you could make the argument Tennessee should be in there. Well, like Tennessee hasn't won anything since the 90s, but they do come through with facilities and recruiting and all of that, but I wouldn't put them in the top 10. But again, the biggest thing with Texas is that, like, you have your own network if you go there. Like, you are the
I will
only
say,
school.
counterpoint, the network has been a failure.
that
It's been a
nobody
failure,
watches.
but-
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's still
But it still goes to
It's
show
how much power
the
that they
value
have.
of Texas.
right.
Texas as a school, as an overall athletic program,
You think
as
people
a
are
state,
tuning
as
in
everything.
for the basketball games?
I don't think Texas having the Longhorn Network in football has mattered even a little bit.
I think that it shows that at some point, Walt Disney and ESPN were like, that program
When's
is
the last
so-
time on Saturday you?
Oh, no.
You
I
were
agree
sitting
with
back
you.
and said,
No,
I wonder
don't
what's
want-
on
I
the
don't-
Longhorn
no.
channel.
Well, never. I mean, especially not me.
Bevo.
Especially not me.
It's just a
because they-
24-hour stream of
Exactly.
Bevo.
So-
but they were a valuable enough team. They were so important in college football. They were the only program that could get their own network. Hundreds of millions of dollars spent.
And yet, when they go hire a coach, they can't get a good one.
But Alabama couldn't for a while either.
But then they did, and that's why right
Well,
now
then
they're the number one program.
That's fine. Texas.
2005, they wouldn't have been the number one program.
But I still think that you and I are just putting different things with different weights into the list. I would put A&M right now as a top 10 program when you talk about.
I'd put A&M at 11.
Okay.
I'd put Penn State at 12.
Penn State's a good one.
And then
What about Michigan or Auburn?
Auburn and Michigan could both, again, when you look at money, and I know you're saying you don't care about that, but people do care about that. I mean, Michigan is third in the most valuable teams in college football.
okay, and they've been awful.
But I'm saying that you have to take different things into
I
consideration.
mean, I wouldn't want to be a Michigan fan going into 2021.
I mean, it's in the same way that, like, look at Nebraska, how it got pulled into a bunch of people's super conferences. That's like the TV viewership,
you were a
not the money
coach-
viewership.
Right. If you were a
What
coach
you got?
right
What you
now-
were saying? What you were listing are the top 10 biggest programs in college football.
Yeah.
I'm saying the top 10 best programs in college
Best
football.
teams.
Programs. Alabama
Well,
has
I
done
mean,
it over.
Wisconsin's program is not better than Texas' program.
Right now, I believe they are. They're steady. They're consistent. They don't have ups and
teams.
downs. They don't have ebbs and flows. You know what you're going to get out of Wisconsin. You know what you're going to get. It's-
We're looking. I feel like it's like arguing like the team on the field versus like the franchise.
Can
Let's
I-
not
can I-
forget,
hold on,
Wisconsin
hold on.
was awful
Can,
last year.
Yeah.
can I just stop you real quick? The program,
Like, I make
in
fun of
my
the- I
opinion,
make fun of the Jets
program
all the
and
time, but then it's like-
the program and the team are not separable to me.
They have
The program
they-
is
you
the
can have-
team. The
you can
team
have
is the
both.
program.
No. That's not true.
I don't see how.
The team plays into
I
the
understand
program.
Texas has many advantages, but they're not doing a fucking thing with it. They're
So-
pissing away their advantages.
I agree with you, and but you have to have both, in my opinion. Like
I
you
think
have
your
to,
A&M argument has merit. The Texas argument is wackadoodle. It's crazy.
How is it wackadoodle?
It's crazy. Like yes, Texas has everything in the world. They have the money. They have the Longhorn Network. They have a huge, gigantic fan base. They have every advantage in the world, and they fucking suck year to year to year to year.
No, they don't suck.
They played for a national title in 2009. It's
Yeah.
not like it's
I
been.
mean, like,
It's
hundreds
been
of
12 years. This is right now. If we were listening to
When's
this
the
in
last
2000,
time was Wisconsin played for a national title?
they don't, but they're consistently a 10-win team. You can't say that about Texas.
In what? So when's the last time that they? So Mac Brown was fired in 2013.
So
not even 10 years, and they had like Charlie Strong stunk absolutely.
So they go-
Tom Herman never lost. I mean, he was over 500 every single one of your years. It's just not good enough at Texas.
Okay.
Those records from Tom Herman would be really good at a lot of other places. He won fucking 10 games in 2018.
How did he play in 14 games? I guess they played Oklahoma again for the title that year. Yeah. Fair enough. That was their I'm back year, right? They beat Georgia.
Yes.
Yeah. And it looked like they had turned the corner and they were back, and it was
But I mean,
false.
still going 8-5 and 7-3 is not like being a garbage program.
It's not. I have never said they're a garbage
Well, no,
program.
but
I don't think they're a top 10 program right now.
They are.
Okay. Well, you have your side. I
do.
have mine.
I
It's
do,
not
and
gonna,
again, I would like every time. Can I give Texas fans some credit too? I can't believe this. This is just like a pro Texas podcast for me today. After the run-in with the Arkansas fans that we had a couple weeks ago, which I know we didn't talk about last week because I wasn't on the podcast, when I argue with Texas fans, they at least come with facts. Like when I went off on the guy with the book, they at least like come back with good quips.
Right.
Arkansas
fans,
just,
yeah.
I mean, they just don't.
It's seventh.
Like arguing with Texas fans, it's like, okay, that's fine. A&M and Texas, fine.
The Arkansas fan base is seventh grade detention.
I mean,
it's the dumbest, stupidest kids in the school.
It made me appreciate every other fan base I've ever argued with after arguing.
Although
with
I would
Arkansas
say
fans.
a couple of weeks ago when you had the argument and I got involved in Texas, I thought the Texas fans were pretty embarrassingly bad.
Oh, I mean, everybody's embarrassingly bad.
All this flagship shit and all this.
Oh, yeah,
and-
no, I mean,
what about the
and-
all-time record? Nobody gives a shit about what happened in 1962.
Well, that was my thing with Arkansas. It was like people are talking about all-time records. We're talking literally pre.
That's crazy. When
World War
Arkansas
II.
and you were arguing,
Yeah.
and you said, and they said, what about the all-time record? A&M's literally won the last 9 in a row.
They've beaten us 3 times in 30 fucking years. It's crazy, and it's like I don't care what happened in 1940, which is why when they're like, "Well, A&M won in 1939," and I'm like, "Yeah, I know, I make fun of that too." But I will say, I will give Texas fans a little bit of credit. Arguing with Texas fans is way more fun than arguing with Arkansas fans because at least you can make a point. And this guy who's leading the Arkansas fan base on Twitter, I don't know what his name is.
Pig Suey?
No, the guy,
Ozzy.
whoever he is, the fact that Arkansas fans don't like him and then get mad at us for like being
Right.
like, well, it's your fan base, guy. Like he's the one who's being shoved in our face. What do you want? Get somebody better. I don't know what to tell you. Jack, times are getting a little bit better.
Yes.
It seems to be. We're in like the 4th quarter of this thing.
Yes, it seems like, I mean, things are going pretty well right now.
Pretty well. We're on the upswing.
Yes.
But times are still tough for people financially.
100%. That doesn't change overnight.
It does not change overnight because unfortunately student loans have been a thing forever. We don't know if that's going to change, but what we do know is our friends at Earnest can make it easier for people.
And they've been our friends for a while now. They've been helping us and the Roughnecks out for a while now.
Because they offer low student rate refinancing and it takes just 2 minutes. You can go on, you can see what you can get. Only 2 minutes and it's risk free, Jack. I mean, who can't spend 2 minutes just checking out what their rate
That's
could
the
be?
easiest part. 2 minutes, quick and easy. You can do it in the convenience of your home. You can be watching Netflix during it. Just
Yeah.
go log on and you can do it 2 minutes and then you start right there. It's perfect.
In the time that we do this ad, you could also go check your rate
Already be
online.
done.
You could already be done. They help you save money. They help you combine multiple loans into a simple monthly payment, which is huge. Because like we said, life's complicated. You don't want a whole bunch of different student loans. So go to Earnest right now because they can help out with those just awful, awful payments, all that stress. You're feeling overwhelmed. And Jack, we all know what's even better than that is free money. We love free money.
I am obsessed with free money.
Free money. So Earnest is offering our listeners of Unnecessary Roughness $100 in a cash bonus. Completely. Yeah, I mean, $100.
And and cash bonus, right?
Right, cash bonus. So if you refinance your student debt at earnest.com/barstool, you get $100 in cash bonus. Terms and conditions do apply. Again, that's $100 cash bonus when you visit earnest.com/barstool to refinance your student loan. It's not available in all states. Terms and conditions do apply, but again, it only takes 2 minutes to get out of that student debt cycle. Visit earnest.com/barstool.
All right, I got a couple more lists. You want to do lists?
Yeah.
Do you do the NFL draft stuff?
Yeah, we'll get there. Let me do a couple lists. We'll get an NFL draft, and then we'll shut up shop. I enjoyed that argument.
That was fun.
Yeah.
But were you surprised that I didn't come with A&M right away?
I figured you were coming with A&M.
Wait, did you give your top 10 list or?
No, because we talked about it because I do agree with 1 through 7.
Yeah. In
Eight
the
on the
order.
list, not
in
in-
the
not
I
in
order.
remember last
order,
week
not
when I
in
said
order.
8 through 10 is almost impossible.
I mean, but I do-
You don't agree with the order? You'd put Oklahoma over Georgia?
I would probably I'd put Oklahoma over Georgia. I would drop LSU just because, I mean, yes, they had the one really great year and they are a good program, but there's this off the field stuff to me right now. It's just like, I mean, they are in complete fucking disarray. I would add Texas on the list. Absolutely. I would drop Florida. I would drop Wisconsin and add A&M.
Okay.
And Oregon to me is way more. Like, I mean, I know they played in the college football playoff, so like that does, they were obviously in the first one. They played the national title game, but like that Oregon to me is based off the same things I was arguing with Texas. It's like what's around their program. It's the branding.
They
it's
also win very consistently.
But in the Pac-12, no one cares.
In the Big 12. Well, the Big 12 doesn't win anything.
But I feel like when last year when we were looking,
The only
at
difference
who,
in the Pac-12 and the Big 12 is where they are.
no, I'm talking about just caring about the conference.
All right.
The Big
Fair
12.
enough.
The
It
Big
does have
12
more
is
passionate fan base.
Yes. And like last year, whenever we were like, "Ooh, who's going to play college football?" Like we were concerned about the Big 12. We weren't concerned about the Pac-12. But beside the point, I do agree with most of this. But I just think that you have to add Texas. I would say right now you add A&M, and I would I definitely wouldn't have Florida in there. Again, no offense to Florida, but like if your argument is that A&M shouldn't be in the top 10 because Jimbo's so new, like Dan Mullen is not even, he hasn't even won a national title and he's there. So.
Okay.
But
would you
it's
like
all up to interpretation.
Would you like to hear the best top 5 national championship games since 2000? The coaches I miss in college football, or the what the fuck happened to that coach?
Can I ask you in the top 5 national championships, is the Texas USC one in there?
That's number 1. That doesn't matter at all.
It does.
Because USC was in there and nobody.
Texas USC was that game.
It was a great game, but that doesn't.
The
Who cares
Rose
about
Bowl
quality of the
again,
game?
because
It was a great game. It's one of the elite
it's
games,
the-
but that
it's
doesn't
one of
matter.
the most iconic games in college
One
football.
game you played 14 years ago doesn't make you a top 10 program
Well,
now.
that's after all the other things I said.
All right. So number 5 would be Ohio State, Miami, 2002. Went to overtime and ended with the wrong champion. Ohio State got a bullshit national title. Miami should have won that.
And Miami had those sick visors.
Number 4, Georgia, Alabama, overtime, 2017, 2nd and 26. Tua hits Devontae Smith. I don't know what ever happened to Devontae Smith after that game. Number 3, Clemson, Alabama, 2016. This didn't go to overtime. I still think it was better because if you remember, what it doesn't get remembered is Jalen Hurts had an incredible run, a touchdown run late to give Alabama the lead, but then Deshaun Watson led the team down for that dramatic touchdown.
It was a very back and forth of emotions for that game, and that's always good.
My number 2, and I thought some of you would disagree, but Auburn, Florida State, 2013. I thought if USC Texas in a world that doesn't exist, this would easily be the best national championship game ever. Just remember the last 4 minutes when there was a touchdown, then a kickoff return for a touchdown, then a touchdown. It just got crazy in the last 4 minutes. It was absolutely incredible. It ended with a last-second touchdown to Kelvin Benjamin. And number 1 is USC Texas. It's the greatest national championship game of all time.
It is. No question. I mean, it was sad for me because Texas won, but I would agree with that. I want to do your the Where Are They Now coaches.
The what the fuck happened to that guy, coach?
Yeah. I love whenever they do Where Are They Now in like celebrity.
I only have
worlds.
4 guys, and I don't know where these guys are. I don't know where any of them are. But these were hot coaches at one point.
Okay.
Shout out if any of them are dead. I know a couple could be close because
R.I.P.
of their weight.
Oh dear.
Oh, man, you're going to talk about.
Okay, so
Yeah.
whatever happened to Mark Mangino?
He
Kansas.
should, but bring him back. He should coach Kansas. By the way, Kansas doesn't have a head coach.
I know, but they just hired an AD.
Okay.
I understand what you're saying, but they just hired an AD.
offended, Jack.
They had to do.
Okay.
They
that's
lost
like-
their AD and coach. They had to do an AD search first, and now they're not competing with anybody. Like I understand it, and if they didn't beat spring practice, I think they're going to end up with like a Lance Leipold from Buffalo. Maybe they'll end up with somebody like that. But I don't know. They should have a coach. It's taken forever, but whatever. It's Kansas. Who cares?
But where is he?
Where's Mark Mangino?
He is
Jack?
alive still.
He was coaching at Youngstown State.
Okay.
Last
Is that
year.
where everybody goes to coach?
Yes.
What the fuck happened to Dennis Franchione? Dennis Franchione, the head coach of Alabama, thought he was going to be good, then he wasn't good. Then head coach of fucking Texas A&M.
A&M.
What happened to Dennis Franchione? He just disappeared on us?
Lost 77-0. Never recovered.
Yeah, where is he?
No idea.
Where did he go after A&M?
Do you
Anywhere?
realize you have a computer in front of you?
Well, Katie's doing it.
Katie, you got it?
I'm
Where
looking at it.
where is he?
Yeah, give me the Wikipedia on Dennis Franchione.
He went to Texas State. That's right.
Oh, yes.
So he's been all right.
But he hasn't been coaching
I was
in
gonna
5
say
years,
R.I.P.
6
That
years.
means he's dead. He's not dead. Yeah, he's just not coaching now.
Okay.
He's just
That
retired
was
somewhere.
wild. Like, he got the Alabama job. Then the A&M, like, he was a
Oh my
major
God.
player in college football.
And then he went to Texas State.
But if you
was there
looked
for
at
a
college
few
football
years,
these
and then-
days and watched ESPN and everything, you would never know this guy existed.
No, I know. But he's the butt of a joke a lot of times. Like, remember when A&M got Franchione? Remember he was at Alabama? No clue where that guy is. He was very nice to me though.
Another one is an Alabama coach. Whatever happened to Mike Price? Mike Price goes from Washington State, gets the Alabama job, goes to a strip club in Gulfport, in Mobile. It says it's rolling, baby, and he's
Didn't
just
he coach
off.
somewhere
He
in
was at
Texas?
UTEP, right? He was at UTEP.
Yeah.
So he was at UTEP until 2012, and then was the interim in 2017. Don't know where he is now. I assume he's probably assistant coaching right now.
I think the only reason I knew that is because I think A&M played them when he was the head coach.
And here's another one,
Maybe.
big guy. What happened to Ralph Friedgen?
Holy
Friedgen
shit, I
alive?
forgot he even existed.
I know these are guys you just forget about.
Oh my God.
Friedgen.
Oh, whoops.
Katie didn't even know. And then Katie's
Yeah.
a college football
She
girl
just-
and she
she
didn't
just
even
said-
know.
All right, go back. That's
know.
it. Ralph Friedgen right there.
Where the hell is that guy?
I don't know where Ralph Friedgen is.
So
he just
he
disappeared.
was a special assistant at Rutgers in 2015.
Isn't this crazy? People just
I
leave?
honestly completely forgot
They
that
just
name.
leave Earth.
He's with the aliens, we mentioned earlier.
I was going to say Charlie Weiss, but I'm pretty sure Charlie Weiss has been just all over the place.
Charlie Weiss, he did some hits with me at NBC Sports Boston.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know why my whole list was fat guys almost.
Well, because you were wondering if they were alive or not.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
know. I'm trying to think if there's anybody else that was like oh no.
He's alive.
Oh no.
What? Is he dead?
Is he dead?
He's alive.
No?
Ralph
Oh,
Friedgen's good.
Well, the first thing in Bleacher Report, how is Ralph Friedgen still alive?
Well, that's your fault for reading Bleacher Report.
What an awful headline.
That's a crazy headline.
I can't believe in
2008.
2008.
That was when like Bleacher Report was more like a forum, like anybody could post.
Oh my God.
All right.
I can't. I'm trying to think.
Oh,
of
I
anything
love.
else.
Let's say the quality of this article. Friedgen is now in his 8th year of coaching his alma mater.
Also, it's
Matter.
incredibly funny, and I know it's Katie's like algorithm, but we're on Bleacher Report, and it's just showing Barstool ads.
All right. Here's the top 5 coaches I miss in college football. There is one overlap here. I do miss. I mean, listen, fat coaches are just funny. I know, not even the one at Arkansas. He's too fat and old. He's miserable. But I love a good fat coach. And Mark Mangino was hilarious.
He was great.
Mark Mangino. I miss Mark Mangino being in college football.
I do
The
too.
only reason you missed him is because he was fat.
I know. I just said
But
that.
no,
You're
but
not,
he also was. He had some personality.
well,
to him.
he won an Orange Bowl.
I know.
Yeah, and he contributed to the craziness of the 2007 season.
Yeah.
Did you see the graphic going around that if there was a 16-team playoff in 2007, what it would look like? Incredible. Incredible. Arizona State.
I think the Andy Staples show talked about this with exact 2007 for 2016.
Yeah, I think it was him that tweeted out the graphic. So
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Shout out Andy Staples.
I've decided what we should do for the food tour.
Oh.
In 2021, we'll take a week and we'll do Big 12. Next year we'll do Big 10. Next year we'll do Pac-12. Next year we'll do SEC. We'll just do it once a year.
Oh, so we're just planning on being here forever.
Wait a second.
Or
Wait a second. Last show you said you were gonna disappear to Mississippi in about 2 or 3 years. You're saying we got 5 more years together?
No.
That's
even when I
great
disappear to
news.
Mississippi, I'm still going to be I'm
But
just,
I
at the end
think-
of Good Will Hunting, where Ben Affleck just wants Will Hunting to disappear, and he does. Y'all are just gonna. I'm just not gonna be here one day. I'm gonna be happy in Mississippi bass fishing.
Okay.
Yeah,
Are you not going to give me a heads up at all?
probably not.
So then how would we continue to do this podcast?
I'd tell Katie because she'd have to get my Instagram ready.
So then how would we continue to do the food tour and the podcast?
Same as we always have. Number 4 coaches I
haven't
miss.
started.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I miss old Hootie Dale Nutt, Houston Nutt.
Oh, goodness.
He was goofy, stupid.
We still get him on CBS.
Yeah, but
Sports
he's just
sometimes.
he just had the in the era of the GIF, in the era of the meme.
He
I
would've
feel
been
like
great.
Oh,
he
he would have killed
I feel like
it.
he dodged that by about 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, he did.
Like he was the first 10 years of
Imagine.
2000s. He was like a walking meme,
He
walking
was.
GIF.
He's somebody that it was such a walking meme that like there's a lot of guys on Twitter in college football Twitter right now that still use him as a
Yeah.
meme just because he was so great before being
Yeah.
the internet sensation that he probably would have been.
Number 3, I almost said Brett Bielema because I just missed him as a head coach, and
But
then I
he's
realized
back.
we got
He's
him
back.
this year.
Yeah,
We got
he's
him.
back. That's a good one, though.
So number 3, I just have Urban Meyer. I kind of wish Urban Meyer was at USC or Texas. I know he just left, but I wish Urban Meyer.
He's at Texas because Texas is a really good program.
It could be. It could be.
Urban Meyer's kind of a scumbag.
Ed Orgeron's still coaching.
That's true.
I mean, LSU's still a
Why do
program.
you miss Urban Meyer, though? Just because he's Urban Meyer?
Just because I know wherever he goes,
People-
boom, national title contender.
That's true.
And I'm so used to Alabama, Ohio State, Clemson. I need one more. Tell me if he went to USC and they were a national title contender next year, that's not interesting.
Oh, no, it for sure
That
is.
is awesome.
But he would probably, he'd make it interesting, and then he'd get headaches.
That's fine.
And then he'd
That's
go
funny.
somewhere else.
That's funny. The
You
pizza
forgot
meme.
you forgot the part of his cycle where there's a potential scandal coming out
Oh, yeah,
before
for
the
sure,
headaches.
for sure.
That
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
always like
Oh, the scandal
the
for
migra-
sure.
yeah,
Yeah,
there's
like
a
the Aaron
great-
Hernandez type situations,
Number 2 is, this is a little older. I don't know how many of you remember him coaching, but Bobby Bowden, Florida State. Bobby Bowden is just a treasure of a
He
human being.
is.
Bobby Bowden is.
Chaps cried after
Cried.
after he interviewed him. That's
So-
how big of a
Cried.
presence that guy had.
Okay, so one day I was at the
That's a good
Northwest Florida, the All Sports Association's banquet in Destin, Florida, in Fort Walton Beach, Florida, in 2013.
Mm-hmm.
You know who the keynote speaker was?
one. Bobby Bowden.
Deion Sanders.
Oh.
Deion Sanders, and in attendance
friend.
that night to support his old player Bobby Bowden. So I'm sitting at the dais. I was the last guy on the dais. I was up at the top of the stage. I'm sitting there and I'm eating my little fish and my chicken or whatever it was. I'm eating, and I feel a hand on my shoulder and says, "How you doing, young man?" I turn around and instinctively shake his hand. I grab his hand before I look at him. I look up, it's Bobby Bowden, and Chaps cried. I felt that in that moment. I was like. My breath was
He's a
taken away.
legend.
It's
I mean,
Bobby Bowden. Yeah.
he has like this presence. Like
Yeah.
I remember when Chaps was interviewing him, he
Yeah.
was on radio with us right before, and he asked me, he was like, "Do you want to stay?" Because with the college football, and I was like, "No, Chaps, you need to have this moment. You need to have this one-on-one moment with your legend.
And my number one coach that I miss in college football.
If it's not who I think it is, I'm gonna be really
Wait,
upset."
you
speaking
stay
of
back.
Bobby Bowden, his son just got a head coaching job.
Terry? Another
Yeah.
one? Yeah, in Louisiana, right?
Yeah, after he failed at Akron.
Okay, so I would like Katie and Jack to guess because I know Casey's probably got it in her mind. Who's the number one coach I miss in
Steve
college football?
Spurrier.
Casey?
Steve Spurrier.
Katie?
Yeah, I have no better idea, so go with that.
Number one is Steve Spurrier.
I mean, that's
are you
the
kidding?
yeah, that's the most obvious answer
Just
ever.
your crazy drunk uncle that happens to be the best
I mean,
college
he
football
ret-
coach in the.
He retired in the middle of the season, just quit on his team because he was like,
And everybody was
And-
fine with
and-
it. Everybody
Everyone
was
was fine. He was like, I just want to go golfing again.
And fun fact, I was the sideline reporter the game after that, the very first game
Okay.
that he wasn't
It really
there,
is
and
crazy.
everyone was like, "Oh, we love Steve."
He quit on his team in the middle of the season.
really
cared.
quit on
and
him
said,
too.
"I'm just going to go play golf," and everybody was like, "Steve Spurrier, man."
Let us know when
Yeah,
you're
like-
doing a pro-am or a charity event because
Love
we'll
Steve
come.
Spurrier. That's a great answer. And if he wasn't number one, then
Yeah.
I'd be upset.
I just miss Steve Spurrier.
I will also-
I love a coach who will do it the right way, who'll just dig at his rivals, but he won't just come
Yes.
out and say, but he'll just get these little barbs and stuff.
Oh,
Can't
he's
spell
so witty.
Citrus Bowl without UT.
Saturday
Free Shoes
Down South,
University.
he had so many great quotes. Saturday Down South has 50 of the best quotes.
I
from
mean,
him.
he is electric.
Yeah.
He really is.
You know
To
what
use a
FSU
Barstool-
stands for, right?
Free Shoes University. And he's the one that
Can't
that
spell
coined it.
citrus without what?
UT.
Uh-huh.
I love Steve Spurrier.
I think.
I
Oh,
also-
this was one of his best ones. On a fire at the Auburn football dorm during the dorm that burned 20 books. The real tragedy was that 15 hadn't been colored yet.
I think that's him. I just thought that was an old joke. Did he say that?
No, he said that. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
I don't know if
Just
but that's
legend.
accredited to him.
He is to be protected at all costs.
Also an incredible football coach.
Yes. I would add one.
On
Okay.
Peyton Manning's goals at this collegiate level. I know why Peyton came back for his senior year. He wanted to be a 3-time star of the Citrus Bowl.
I have one. I want to see what your thoughts are. Bob Stoops.
Bob Stoops is so
Big
plain
game
to
Bob.
me.
Bob Stoops has that like asshole vibe
Yeah.
around him. Like people just hate him. Like he was like that
An
villain.
insurance salesman. Yeah.
Yeah, like but and like he big game Bob, and then like it's like Lincoln Riley right now is like the darling. Everybody loves Lincoln Riley, but it's like Bob Stoops had that like you either loved him or you fucking hated him. Like nobody was apathetic to Bob Stoops.
I'm apathetic to him, to be honest.
Really?
But
What
I
were you
will
when he was
say-
coaching?
What?
When he was coaching at OU,
I think
were
I
you?
was, but I wasn't when he was really big game Bob. I was still a little bit younger, and I wasn't really as
I
in
miss
tune
big
to the
game Bob.
entire college football culture as I am now. So he's selling tequila now. He has his own tequila.
See, I bet it stinks.
Jack, you want to? Nothing.
But now you have to say something.
Well, I just Jack or anybody. So Max Kellerman's in the news for saying something super woke.
What did he say?
He said he's concerned that the NFL draft is going to start white guy, white guy, white guy.
Oh,
Who gives a
Okay.
shit? Who gives a shit if whatever? What?
he just shouldn't have said that.
Yeah, he just says he's concerned it's going to go white guy,
Why
white guy.
is
white-
he concerned?
He said that.
Can't,
That is the big topic this week. Is that?
That Justin Fields is falling.
Yeah.
he just shouldn't have said that.
No, he shouldn't have said that.
He
I
should
will
keep
say
his mouth
this:
shut.
there's a certain number of these, a lot of questions going in the NFL draft. Okay, And I'm just going to give some freewheeling opinions and see how you guys take them, okay?
By the way, Justin Fields is falling in the NFL draft because he's a vegan.
And that, like Cam Newton. So, all right. Number one.
Arian Foster became a vegan when he was with the Texans.
And
It's very interesting to me. The number one pick is Trevor Lawrence. He's been the number one pick for several years. So putting him aside, the best player in the NFL draft, and maybe the best player in college football, pound for pound last year, could be a tight end, Kyle Pitts.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Pitts was something like we've never seen before at Florida last year. And this is going to be kind of stream of consciousness as I go from point to point. But Kyle Pitts is so interesting to me because you don't want to waste an early pick on a tight end, but he, more than anybody, changed Florida last year. He was absolutely electric. He's a receiver playing tight end, or he's a tight end
He's
that has
versatile.
receiver skills. Like he is elite, and he runs like a 4.40 at his size. Kyle
He's
Pitts
gigantic.
is something special, and we'll look back and say, well, Devontae Smith clearly deserved the Heisman. We'll look back and say I don't think Kyle Pitts got enough credit that year that he was elite in college. My other question is, for everything that's happened in the NFL draft run-up, with Trevor Lawrence salting away number one, then Zach Wilson has grabbed number two for the Jets. Then you got what looks like Mac Jones and Trey Lance for the Niners spot at 3. Justin Fields. For all of that, am I taking crazy pills, or did Kyle Trask just go from – how did he just disappear from Earth like this? I know that he might not have the tools, but I'm not convinced all 5 of those quarterbacks have the tools to be top 10 picks.
I agree with you completely.
I mean, you know how often an NFL draft has 5 good quarterbacks?
Never. I have a fact for you. Because shout out I don't know what Jack's doing over there. Shout out the Barstool Sportsbook app. Do you have any draft props?
I am going to give them tomorrow, yes.
Oh, well, I'm going to go ahead and give mine. Mine and Fran's is up right now. It's the total of quarterbacks going in the top 10. And the over
Mine is going to be over-under SEC players drafted.
Okay, so mine is top 10 quarterbacks drafted. What do you think that Penn set the total at?
In the top 10 or draft?
Top 10 quarterbacks.
4.5?
4.5. Mm-hmm. The public is on the over.
It has to be.
There has never been 5 quarterbacks drafted in the top 10. There's only 2 times in the NFL draft history there's been 4 drafted. I do not understand
That's
why.
5.
I do not understand why.
That's PFF. That's sorry. I thought
Like
I was
everyone is just so sure that all 5 of these guys are going to go in the top 10. Like I understand the Zach Wilson hype to a certain degree.
Yeah.
Trey Lance, whatever. How can you say that all 5 of those guys should be top 10 quarterbacks?
I don't really.
Trevor Lawrence is the only one I'm sold on.
Who's the one you understand the least?
Zach Wilson.
Really?
More than Trey Lance?
Well, mine's different from both of those.
Really?
Yeah.
Who?
Mac Jones. Mac Jones waited his time at Alabama, but he didn't break through until his redshirt junior year or his redshirt senior year. And that's fine. He was behind an elite quarterback. But it's just hard for me to look and see a guy that was throwing to an open receiver on every play. He had the best receiving core in the country. He had the best offensive line in the country, and he was flanked by the best running back in the country. He had a confluence of factors around him that was probably probably the craziest. That might have been the best threesome of that group ever. Offensive line, receivers, and running back. Alabama 2020 might have been the best group of those 3 things ever. And he was always throwing to open receivers. I've never seen him have to make a tight window throw. He didn't really have to ever be under pressure. He didn't ever have to come from behind. So in the NFL, is that going to translate? I don't know the answer to that question. It might. I will say this in to attack the point I just made. Just because he didn't have to make tight window throws doesn't mean he can't make them. And always throwing to open receivers does mean he was always making the right read, which is an advanced skill that he needs to have.
And on top of that, he was playing against NFL caliber defenses in the SEC.
Yes.
So that to me, and because I agree with you,
And then in the playoff, yes.
So Mac Jones has at least played against guys who will also be in the NFL. When you look at Trey Lance, and I understand they won, I get that, but we talked about this, it's I'm not saying that you can't be good if you're from North Dakota State. I'm not saying that at all. But you don't have a lot of tape on him, and then he's playing much less caliber defenses. So you look at that. Now, Zach Wilson had a great year, but it's the same argument with me. The only 2 guys that I know have played I mean, we're taking Trevor Lawrence off the table because we know he's there.
You're saying Justin Fields and Mac
Justin
Jones.
Fields and Mac Jones are the two guys I know have played defenses that they are going to, the guys that are going to be in the NFL. Trey Lance and Zach Wilson, I don't think on a consistent basis have had to play against good defenses.
Now, there are two guys in the top 10 right there of Pro Football Focus and of CBS Sports that opted out in 2020, Micah Parsons and Jamar Chase. Does that matter to you at all?
No.
Doesn't matter to me at all either.
Not even
I don't
a
care.
little bit.
I'm good. In fact, I think Micah Parsons, before he opted out, was like a top 5 pick, and now he's in that top 15 range, top 12 range.
Not even.
I think
that
Micah
doesn't-
Parsons is going to be the best defensive player in this draft. People forget he was a menace at Penn State, and Penn State was like, I know it didn't end up well, but Penn State was going into that season last year as a top 10 team, a national title, not favorite, but right there, second tier. And it all fell apart when, Micah Parsons, they didn't have their defensive heart and soul. I really felt like, he is that good. I think, people, especially maybe college football fans, especially pro football fans, kind of forget how good Micah Parsons was at Penn State.
At some point last year during the offseason, we talked about Trevor Lawrence being the best quarterback, but we talked about Micah Parsons potentially being the best player in college football going into 2020.
When does Ian? Let's talk about when does Ian Book have to go for you to go crazy?
Top 3 rounds.
Okay.
I don't
Yeah.
think
What about Trask?
Kyle Trask, again,
I
I don't
think
think I
he'll
would
be
go
top 30.
crazy on him. Although Dak went 135th in the 4th round. So 3rd and 4th round, I think Ian Book's going in that 3rd, 4th round range. Trask, and then Kellen Mond
I was
probably.
about to say, Kellen Mond.
I would say
I want Kellen
What
Mond
about
to go to the
Buechele? I
Patriots.
thought Buechele was
Remember
very good.
Rondelle Moore?
I do.
He opted
Yes.
out, and he's looking like he may be a second-round pick.
I think there are players that we just kind of forget about, like Rashad Bateman, who opted out. He's going
But
to be
he
a
did
menace.
play.
He's going to be like a couple of games, right?
I feel like he played a decent amount of games because
I
the end
thought
of
he
the
played like
day-
2 games and then realized the defense sucked and they weren't going to
Yeah,
do
he was
anything.
like,
and
that
he-
may
see ya.
be true. Rondelle Moore has fallen a lot. And I will say, we're talking about Kyle Pitts. That's a guy, along with Devonta Smith, who playing this year really benefited them. Because I think they both would have,
Yes.
don't get me wrong, they would have been in the NFL. But I don't think they would have gotten top 10
I don't
picks.
think Kyle Pitts would be talked about as a top 10 pick if he didn't play
No.
last year.
I
Also,
agree.
what happened to Travis Etienne? Is
So
there-
he's a
okay,
running
here's a
back.
question.
Yeah, I know
here's
that.
here's a
But just
question.
still, though.
Here's a question. The top 3 running backs on the board to bet for on the Barstool Sportsbook app is Najee Harris, Travis Etienne, and Javonte Williams, North Carolina. So my question is, which one do you like the most? Because there's one I hate in the pros. I hate this guy in the pros.
Who?
Say Travis.
Travis Etienne. Travis Etienne had a great career at Clemson. He set records. He's the all-time ACC rushing leader. Great. And he did it all against Wake Forest, NC State, and
disappeared in big
Virginia.
games.
He disappeared in big games. He
Absolutely.
just, against Ohio States and Alabamas and LSU's, Travis Etienne was a complete non-factor. I don't think that bodes well for the NFL.
He disappeared every single time we would hype him up. Like, it was just like, well, look at this Clemson offense. Look at all the weapons Trevor Lawrence has. And then there's Travis Etienne. And then he would have a shit game. And then he would come back against a shitty team and have a good game. But again, I mean, it just running back stock in the NFL in general when it comes to the draft. It's like, I think you're going to see one guy go in the first round, and that's Najee Harris.
I think Javonte Williams could threaten the back half of the first round, or the very back tier, like that 29 to 32 range, because I think teams that are in the second round that won't one, like the Dolphins at 36, could trade
up.
at 36. I could say, no, I got to get up and get this guy because I want him.
On Daniel Jeremiah's big board, who I would say is the most well-respected draft analyst, he has Javonte, Najee, and Travis Etienne all in the top 32. That doesn't translate necessarily to being drafted in the first round, but he is saying in terms of big board best players overall, he has them all in the top 25 actually.
You know who my favorite back of that is?
Javonte Williams.
Javonte Williams. Javonte Williams, people forget.
He almost didn't get recruited.
That's fine. But he split time with another great running back, Michael Carter.
Yeah.
They're 2 good running backs, and they'll both go in the NFL. But if he hadn't split time, this guy's in the Heisman contention last year. If this guy's not giving away half his carries to another good running back, Javonte Williams, he had runs that were eye-popping. He had highlight runs where he would just go around and
Also, he averaged 3 touches per actually going down. He never went down for the first touch.
yeah, and that's why I
insane.
think he is the guy.
He is.
That is going to be.
People do forget that those 2 running backs were both like Heisman Trophy contending by themselves, and then you add them together.
Can you bring up the same list but for receiver? Because I think
So it's really a big question of, is it Jamar, Jalen, Devonta,
Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle, Jamar
then
Chase.
Elijah Moore is in there. Where do you put Kadarius Toney?
Okay, good. First of all, the best receiver in the draft didn't play in 2020.
Jamar Chase.
It is Jamar Chase.
Yeah, easy.
That's who I want as the Dolphins at 6. Jamar Chase is the best receiver. I think Jalen Waddle is a clear number 2. I think Devontae Smith is a clear number 3. After that, this is a very, very, very deep, exciting batch of receivers going into the pros. I just look at their names, and it's just highlight after highlight. Rondelle Moore at Purdue. We never really got to see what Rondelle Moore was going to turn into. We just had that electric freshman season where he had 114 catches. He got hurt, and then he opted out. Kadarius Toney is somebody I can see just blowing up in the NFL.
You love Kadarius Toney.
I love Kadarius Toney.
And you have for a while.
I have.
Tutu.
I think he is fantastic. Tutu Atwell, who's 149 pounds. Rashad Bateman, of course. Elijah Moore. I hate Ole Miss, but I think he is going to be very, very good in the pros. I think he's going to be very awesome in the pros. Elijah Moore, if you can get him in the back half of the first rounds, just you go on and on with this list. Amari Rodgers from Clemson, De'Ami Brown from North Carolina, Daz Newsome from North Carolina. I mean, that guy's really good. There's just so many good players. Seth Williams from Auburn is great, and
they have him at 20.
He is.
Tylan Wallace at
Not 20th
one
pick,
time
20th
we thought he was
thought
supposed
he was
to
a
be really
Heisman
great.
contender. Yeah. I love the draft. It's an injection
Amon-
of pro
Amon
and
Ra
college
St.
football
Brown.
in the spring.
Which is why, and I've gone on this soapbox so many times when people try to discredit college football. It's like every year when the draft comes around, people who love college football get to talk about the draft with actual knowledge. Because people who only love the NFL, they pretend like they know. It's like, we know all of these guys because we've watched these guys play their entire college career.
Jalen Darden from North Texas, he was the guy who put up like
gigantic numbers.
If you looked up his
He had like
numbers,
18
you'd be like,
touchdowns.
wait a
North
second,
Texas,
how did he
though.
do that in a shortened season?
Yeah. His numbers were.
Oh, that's true.
insanity.
Yeah, because they didn't play. How many games did they play?
I think they played
mean,
a decent amount because they were North Texas. I think they did a lot of those. Like, I think they had one game where
They did what they wanted.
Yeah.
they did what they wanted, and then they
Texas
also
does
played
whatever they
Houston Baptist, and they had that game. I think that game was like 70-52 or
Tutu
something.
Atwell's 5'9".
Yeah, he's 5'9". Like he weighed in at 149 pounds.
So I've been saying I can't wait for college football. But that's also meaning I'm skipping the summer. And I don't want to skip the summer, Jack. I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't have a summer last year. I don't want to skip it. But I will tell you, what comes with college football comes the fall, the winter, and the spring.
Yep.
And you know what that means?
I think I do. Skiing?
And snowboarding.
Yep.
I mean, when the weather starts to change, you start putting your hoodies on, you start realizing, you know what? It's time to book that snowboarding or that ski trip. And a lot of times it feels like it's a little bit too late. It gets a little bit pricey.
Gets to a lot pricey.
Yeah,
That's
not even
the
like
number.
a lot pricey.
People love skiing, love snowboarding, but those prices to get on a lift, those lift prices, I think they call. Oh my God, they're a lot. That's what I remember from my skiing days.
Yes, and from snowboarding, I know that lift passes can be an absolute pain in the ass, but now our friends at Icon Pass, they're helping you prepare for the 2021-2022 season, which is going to be here before you know it.
Yes, and if I know one thing about skiers and snowboarders, they plan this stuff out
Well, you have
months in advance.
You have to, especially if you are wanting to be price conscious, which everybody should, because why not? So right now they have pass options starting at only $3.99 for adults, exclusive spring savings. There's an adventure for every type of rider, both new to the mountain or if you've been a long-time shredder. Shredder's like the cool term,
No,
right?
yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
Shred the gnar or whatever. So, I mean, I sounded like a complete asshole saying that, but I do know that saving on passes is just a huge thing to do. And especially if you have kids. Like my dad used to take my sister and I as kids. I'm sure it was ridiculously expensive, up to $200 savings on child passes, $100 in renewal discounts. You can do a payment plan.
Yep.
Who doesn't love a payment plan?
And I think it's 0% down.
0% down, 0% APR.
Ooh.
Fantastic. And so you can unlock access to more than 40 unique Icon Pass destinations. So not only do you get lift passes to like one place, 40 different places.
Oh my God.
So start planning your vacation now. From the second you score your pass and you stake your claim for the 2021-2022 season, you have an entire season of sweet stuff to look forward to. Explore pass options at Icon, that's IKON, pass.com. Again, Icon with a K, pass.com. Own the season, own the stories, own the Stoke.
When we go to the Big 12 food tour, are we going to start in like Dallas and then go to
No,
Waco and then go to what are we going
No,
to
you know where we got to start.
Oklahoma City? That's in the
Eskimo
middle.
Joe's.
No, we got to go to Eskimo Joe's first.
Or is that the main event?
Can I be honest?
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
I feel like for all the times we shouted out Eskimo Joe's, they really haven't responded.
good
to
point.
anything.
That's facts.
You
They-
know what? That's a good point.
know
They
what?
haven't really.
I'm over them.
I'm not over them, but this is their last chance.
They have a chance
Right
right,
now.
Oklahoma State fans.
We're going to do a food tour, and we will start at Eskimo Joe's because of those cheese
We will
fries we
come to
hear about.
Stillwater.
We will go to Stillwater. We'll pump it out. We'll give you what you need. It'll be great. You'll give us what we need, which is free food. But you haven't really responded every time we've
And
talked about this.
They tweet and stuff.
Yeah, and like their fans always tweet at us about
So
them,
Oklahoma
but,
State
like,
fans, y'all
hey,
gotta make this right. Y'all need to make sure Eskimo Joe's reaches out and they don't have to kiss the ring, but they gotta at least give us a head nod.
I mean,
like,
we
what's up,
literally
guys?
talk about them.
Like we need to be like when we walk in,
Yeah, we need.
there needs to
let
be
me-
a table ready.
Let
Yeah.
me tell you something. Now, I can't speak for any other school, and I know it's like I'm just going to speak for my school, but I can tell you right now that the Dixie Chicken, the Tap, I could go down the list of the places in College Station. They always shout us out on Twitter. They always are tweeting at us, things like that. Mississippi State, how do they do? Any of the restaurants there?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I know. You can. I want you to.
Two brothers.
Right. No, I know.
Two brothers,
I'm
delicious.
saying it's
the
good.
Camp house is great.
That's what I'm saying. It's
Yeah.
good. No,
The
I'm saying
guest
it's.
room?
I love the guest room.
Yeah.
I'm saying all these restaurants have taken notice when we talk about them on the podcast, and
They
we
have.
probably talked about Eskimo Joe's
More than anybody.
more than anyone else, and they haven't acknowledged our existence.
Katie, go back. You
They're
had
playing
something I
hard to
wanted to
get.
talk about. I just need to see it.
That
No,
was
no,
really-
no.
Are you laughing at what I think you're laughing at?
I'm laughing at this tweet.
I'm not worried about that tweet. I will get to that tweet because that's a very good tweet. Let's see. I want to see the poll here. Would you rather be Texas or Notre Dame right now?
It wasn't a poll, it was responses, but there's some very good ones.
Just real quick, I'll just go. Indy because the ACC is better.
Well, they're not in the ACC.
UT Irving and Texas better. Along, I don't know what that means at all.
This one.
Texas, new coach with new possibilities, who's an offensive guru, and you have a hopeful future. If you're Notre Dame, you got the same head coaches now, 0-3 in BCS college football playoff. Yeah, but been to 3 of them. Your ceiling is established. I don't agree with any of that. Notre Dame, because I'd rather be in the conversation than be super irrelevant. Give me Notre Dame. Texas has to do a little more for me to pick them. Notre Dame all day. Texas, hate to use the term sleeping giant. That's a very good term for them. But you could build a top roster without having to leave the state or just go next door to
Who's the
Louisiana.
biggest sleeping giant in college
Oh,
football?
Bud Elliott. Bud
Let's
Elliott
do
answered.
some lit. Oh, we did?
Yeah, Texas. If you believe in yourself, you're going to pick the place with the ceiling. If you want job security, Irish.
Does Bud Elliott follow you, Katie?
Yep.
Do you follow him?
Yep.
Good.
Um,
He's good. He's somebody that
He's
I
very
like
good.
in
Very
college
good.
football
Very good.
media.
Very good.
other than let's see, the team that was in the playoff last year, Notre Dame. Texas, Notre Dame has to win the Natty, and that's not happening. Notre Dame because they've got the Pope on their side.
No, that's a good answer. That's funny.
Notre Dame not even
On the
close.
Pope, he's-
I'm going with the team that's made the college football playoff. Hashtag Go Irish. I was just a Notre
I mean,
Dame
it's
fan.
really split. It's split.
It's very split. The school located in Austin, Texas, Notre Dame. It is.
Very split.
I would say it's probably just slightly Notre Dame, but
I feel you get more arguments for Texas. You get more people just Notre Dame.
Saying Notre Dame.
Yeah.
People are explaining.
Texas. Notre Dame has maxed out potential
like
with
this
Brian
one.
Kelly, while Sark at Texas go to new heights. Well, they
This
could,
se-
but
okay,
they could have
here-
done it with Herman, and they
Here's-
could have done it with.
Here's the
Strong.
question: whose ceiling is higher?
Texas.
Yeah.
For
and
sure.
Yeah, and I think that's.
I would say Texas has a top 3 ceiling in this country. I have no doubt about that.
we-
But right
that's-
now,
that's the list we should have done.
I feel like that's the list that's the list you did do.
Sleeping giants is another list we should have done.
We can
We'll
do.
do it
Hey,
next
guess what?
week.
It's the off season. We can do as many lists.
Wait,
whatever
wait,
you want.
wait,
I was
hold on,
asking
hold
for
on.
lists 2 months ago, and then all it took was ATL Boomer to go off on Twitter
Oh!
for everybody to start doing the lists.
ATL Boomer. I have something to say. I love his lists. Great. And he's been tagging us in lists, which means he's paying
has?
He
attention.
knows, yeah.
Oh.
We do use
He
this
put out a
concept.
list last week, and
We do.
I wasn't on the podcast. He put out best and worst traditions at schools.
We should do this.
I agree. He put out one of the worst traditions. Was it A&M kissing your girlfriend?
Yeah, it's
Why
pretty
is that
lame.
a bad tradition?
I don't think that's a bad tradition
Kissing
at
your
all.
girlfriend?
I'm kidding, but
I mean, kissing your girlfriend sounds pretty great to me.
I
Why
love,
would that be a worse tradition?
I love kissing people's girlfriends.
I love kissing.
That'll
the,
be-
the funniest
that's
part
not,
was
that's
they
coming
had,
back to you and DM.
they had
But I'm
one.
just saying, like,
They had
like,
one for every single school, and then they had 5 for Texas A&M.
One thing
No,
that
that's the ripped. That's
Oh,
a
I-
different.
hold on,
list.
hold it right there for right
This
now.
is funny though.
One thing every Power 5 school gets ripped for. I don't know Alabama Chuck E. Cheese. What does that mean?
It's like some pizza thing. Because
Yeah,
for
no,
best
it's-
pizza
that's dumb.
places, they got brought up
put
for Chuck E. Cheese.
It's like an inside joke for his lists. We talk about this guy's list way too much.
We do. You're right. All right. We're not going to talk about his list.
Kissing your girlfriend is not a bad tradition.
I enjoy kissing people's girlfriends.
I
That's
enjoy
for
kissing
traditions.
People's girlfriends.
people's girlfriends.
I will say,
That'll-
ATL
that'll
Boomer,
come
you
back
have
to you
some
even
great
more.
lists. Like
I enjoy kissing.
You have some great lists, and
You know what?
specifically,
You're on record as enjoying kissing.
Kissing is fun.
All right. We got it.
Kissing is fun.
It's a lot sometimes.
What?
I'm married. I don't kiss.
You don't kiss.
I don't want
What
to
am I-
kiss for
what
an
am I
hour.
put? I'm going to put
Whoa,
gas in the
no,
tank of a
Jack.
car I've already wrecked?
Oh, God. Marriage sounds like it's awful. Kissing is
Yeah,
so
we kiss
fun,
every now and
and no matter what
kiss on
age you
sex
He's
night.
are.
tag us.
Huh?
So he's tagging us in them.
Yeah, he tagged me in the worst.
No, he
traditions
likes
thing.
Barstool,
Hey,
it appears.
by the way, just out of curiosity, and I know it's human instinct because you talk about it as but like, why? How did we decide that like the way of showing love was just touching mouths?
Well, how did we?
Well, I think biologically it triggers something inside of you.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
no, I get that, but like I get why sex is instinctual because the parts go
They
together,
fit,
right?
yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
but like kiss, it's like where I eat, where I put, like
Yeah.
like that's the way I'm gonna show
and
you that I
breath
live.
isn't always
No,
good.
like
yeah.
how did that happen?
I don't know. I think
It
it
is
just
weird.
happened.
And how did we decide? Like, what? We're really gonna amp this up, and you're gonna like French kiss.
Right.
You're gonna
I
get the tongues
I don't
involved.
just want the lips. Give me
Now
the tongue.
you're gonna thrash tongues.
Yeah.
How did
Yeah,
that
you're
happen?
gonna eat. You're gonna eat the. Yeah, you're gonna eat
You're
each
gonna
other's
eat each
face.
other, right?
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
when
and
you
it's
put it
it's
like that.
instinctual, but like that
And
is.
then
but
now
it
we're
is
just spitting in each other's mouths.
Yeah. Now people are just.
You
straight
know about
up,
that? You know about that,
how's
Brandon?
the kissing scene now post COVID? Is it still pretty strong?
Yeah, you spit in each other's mouths. now.
Well, you do spit in each
That's
other's
a big
mouths.
thing.
That is a thing, but
uh,
it is a thing.
careful.
No, it is. Or
it is a
you'll
thing.
you'll get like some liquid and then you'll spit it into someone else's mouth. It's big on TikTok.
Okay, I think we can wrap her up now.
Jack's the ex.
No,
I will,
we asked the Roughnecks their hottest NFL draft takes. We have to.
We're
Yeah, I mean, we've been going for like 2
6:05.
hours.
We asked the Roughnecks.
Since when have we actually We've
All
been
right.
a few episodes
Pull
we've
it
read
up.
stuff.
Pull it up. Pull it up.
Also,
The
He's right.
fan.
He's right. He's right.
the
You're right.
kissing scene will always be great. Oh, Katie. What a
No.
visceral reaction you just had.
No, I just have no dating life right now.
Okay.
That was more just meh.
Okay.
Also,
read the tweet. Oh my gosh.
speaking of Paige Browning, last
Oh, I thought you were
week,
going to say Paige Spranik when we're talking about kissing.
last week, Paige Browning in the Facebook group was just like demanding me around. She was like, "Oh, that sounds like something that Jack McGuire can do for."
Well, you did
Paige,
insult her.
Did you do it?
No, because it was bad for business.
All right. Let's. I gotta get on track.
I'm
Let's
so hungry.
focus.
And I need
Roughnecks,
to
give
pee.
us your hottest takes on the NFL draft from a college fan's perspective. We'll read the best ones on tomorrow's podcast. Paige Browning says, yes, I burped in my mouth. UT fans will go crazy when Ellinger gets drafted in the 6th round and then be cocky for 72 hours on Twitter how Texas produces the top NFL talent.
Well,
that seems accurate.
It does seem accurate, but we also know that how many years in a row the SEC has had the most guys drafted?
I think it's at least
I sent that
15
to
or
text.
20.
Yeah.
Why is everything about Ellinger? No first-round quarterback will make it to their second contract with the team that drafts them. Well, Trevor Lawrence certainly
Trev, I
will.
mean, what is that terrible?
Did you see one of the anonymous scouts quotes about Sam Ellinger?
No, what'd he say?
That guy's going to be a great coach.
Oh,
That's almost like a girl calling you
what?
like buddy or something.
Right.
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
friend.
He's
He got
such a
friend
good
zoned.
friend.
Oh,
That guy's going to be
he's-
such a good friend.
He got friend zoned
Real
big
quick.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's really good. Yeah.
Let's see. Matt Albrecht says no chance Kellen Mond is any good at the next level. I wouldn't be surprised if he's out of the league in a few years. I don't think that's a wild take. I mean, I don't even know you have to say that. This weekend, our enemies get worse and we get better because our players have to stay because they're just above mediocre. Plus a one-legged transfer quarterback says. Who's
John
he talking?
Anthony. I mean, he
Is he a
is.
South Carolina
About
fan?
Mackenzie Milton.
Fuck Florida. Fuck the U. He's a Florida State fan.
Okay. Sports Talk Paul, 70% of NFL busts are bad in the NFL because of a downgrade in coaching. I think college coaches are better at developing talent than their NFL counterparts by and large. I think that is the very dumbest thing I've ever heard. They're better in college because they play other college players who aren't as talented
Right.
as them. And when they get to the NFL and they get in a faster, bigger, stronger league, they can't measure up. That's why they're bust. It has nothing to do with coaching.
And they
Completely
make-
agree with
yeah.
that. I mean,
think
you're
there's a
playing
lot
the best of the
guys
best.
that, like,
I mean, there's certain guys that got with the wrong coach, like Vince Young going to Jeff Fisher. That it wasn't a
Yeah.
good mix.
But it wasn't because he was better with Mac Brown. It was because he was just.
Right.
It's
different
better.
league.
Yeah, different league. Playing the best
Zach
of the best.
Rob says Mac Jones will be the most successful NFL quarterback from this draft.
And somebody said whoever goes to the 49ers will be the most successful quarterback in the draft.
That could be very much him. Open Paul. So I don't know what his name is. Ian Book to the Bears in the second round, proven winner.
No.
Proven winner.
Yeah, he won. He won more than he was like as a starter. He was like 33-4 or something.
Yeah, I guess, but like when you
Yeah.
just
I mean, that's a proven winner.
Also,
Yeah, but then you prove it. I feel like when you're like a proven winner, it's like when you shit the
who's
bed
won
on
a
a
national
national level.
championship recently and become great in the NFL? Deshaun.
Deshaun.
Not
No,
notwithstanding.
I know, but I'm just saying he had before obviously everything that's happened this offseason. He was pretty good.
Yeah,
Who else has won a national championship?
Tua hasn't become good yet.
No, not yet.
Joe Burrow hasn't.
Cam Newton won an MVP,
Cam
but
Newton,
he became a vegan like Justin Fields.
Jameis hasn't been terrible, but he hasn't been
Yes.
great. It's so many Alabama quarterbacks get in the
Right.
way of this.
Tim
Like who's a
Tebow,
proven winner that was great in college? And
I think Deshaun is probably the only one.
Baker.
Baker's a good
one.
example.
Baker's a good one. Kyler's not a terrible one.
Yeah.
He only had the 1 year though.
Yeah, but
And Kyler isn't. It's still like the jury's a little out on Kyler.
All right.
but he hasn't been a bust like a lot of
Who's
people said he
Yeah,
was.
yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna get mocked for not knowing his name, but the running back from Alabama who's on the Titans.
Derrick Henry.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I'm just talking quarterbacks because everyone's like,
quarterbacks,
no
okay.
one's
You're
been
right.
like, oh, that running back's a great winner.
Yeah.
Travis Yarborough says, why would the Niners get Mac Jones after 2 DUIs over Fields? Smokescreen used by them and Salah of the Jets now. 2 helping 3 for sure. Okay. Cole W55. I keep saying there's a reason Kirby Smart stuck with Jake Fromm over Fields when he. Then you keep being a fucking idiot, Cole. I'm sorry. If you're using this draft and Justin Fields falling from like 3 to 8 or 3 to 15, the fact Jake Fromm is never going to take a meaningful snap in the history of his life ever again.
Even if he fell to the second
I don't
round.
care where he falls. Justin Fields went to Ohio State, went to the playoff
One
twice.
of the best college football quarterbacks of the past
50
decade.
touchdowns, 3 interceptions. If Justin Fields stays at Georgia, you guys probably win a national title over the last couple of
If
years.
Georgia fans celebrate Justin Fields falling in the draft
That's weird.
at all, will be the weirdest fucking thing. Like, what are you talking about? Justin Fields is so much better of a quarterback than Jake Fromm, and had he stayed, you're right, they would have won.
They would have won a national title. There are 3. Jeb
is
says,
this something that's going to happen? Are Georgia fans going to be celebrating that?
well, college football fans will look for any. The draft does bring out some weird takes from fans.
That's
where it'll be a fan base that loses like 52-14 to a team, and then their quarterback is drafted higher. See, we develop players better. Well, no, you don't. You got your ass kicked. Jeb says there are 3 viable NFL starting quarterbacks in this draft. It's possible only one viable starter goes top 5. The viable starters are Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, Mac Jones. So I think at least 2 of them are going top 5. Fields or Jones are going top 5. Maybe not
agree with
both.
Kyle Pitts said today he believes the first 4 picks will be quarterbacks.
I hope so. Dan Conley, football fans who only notice college football because of the draft are not football fans, they're NFL fans. Football is so much bigger than the NFL.
Preach it, Dan.
Hayden Boucher, Burrow reunites with Jamar Chase, and Tua reunites with Devontae Smith. I hope not. I'd rather reunite with Jalen Waddle. I think Jalen Waddle's going to be a better pro than Devontae Smith, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, take either one.
I tweeted this the other day from Unnecessary Roughness. One of the greatest offenses in the history of college football didn't have the best wide receiver on their team that we thought was the best wide receiver before the season.
Correct. Yeah.
Like
They
imagine
lost-
if they had Jalen Waddle on that team.
They lost a top 10 pick,
Yeah.
and
They still were
And
the
they
and
didn't
were
miss a
still
beat.
didn't miss a
It was
beat.
them and LSU, 2 of the best ever.
Yeah.
The last 2 years are probably 2 of the best offenses ever.
Yeah.
Nick Presley says Trace Sermon and Chuba Hubbard will be better running backs than both of the UNC running backs. Also, J.C. Horn is actually the best corner in the class. Lastly, Justin Fields is a bust. Okay, Fields might be a bust. J.C. Horn, very good, but I think Patrick Surtain's also very good. And Trace Sermon could be great. I don't know about Chuba Hubbard. Chuba Hubbard wasn't great last year.
The last one that's on the screen right now,
Yeah.
please read that.
Aaron Atwal says Trevor Lawrence is not the prospect everyone thinks he is. He has terrible pocket awareness, and he has played in a one-read system since his days in Cartersville. Now his love for the game is being questioned. He's more Matt Ryan than he is Manning, Brady, Luck. Well, hey, being Matt Ryan ain't bad. Matt Ryan has been very, very good. Went to a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Wasn't his fault
Wait,
they lost it either.
Is that's bad?
He said he's more Matt Ryan than he is Manning, Brady, Luck. I'd rather be.
I'd rather Matt Ryan than Andrew Luck.
Correct. I'd rather be Matt Ryan than Andrew Luck all day, every day.
All day, every day.
Also, Matt Ryan's like that's the difference between great and elite, but it's like it's a 9 and a 10.
Matt
like,
Ryan-
Yeah, also, putting Andrew Luck next to Peyton Manning and Tom Brady is offensive.
Matt Ryan has been.
That's offensive.
Matt Ryan has not won a Super Bowl, but I believe Matt Ryan has been a good enough quarterback to win a Super
Now,
Bowl.
I guess I could see, like, when he's talking about draft prospects, obviously Andrew Luck was high up there as, like, a draft prospect. But if you're talking about what's happened in the NFL, I'd much rather be Matt Ryan. But here's why I wanted you to read this. And I don't know if you guys talked about it last week. We talked about it on the Dime Package. This bullshit about his love for the game being questioned and people thinking that that's a bad thing. Are you guys fucking stupid?
I don't know who said it. I think it was Colin Cowherd. Trevor said, I don't have a chip on my shoulder. I'm not going to approach it like that. Why would he have a chip on his shoulder? He's been a golden god for 10 years. He's been on the best teams. He's won championships. Where's the chip coming from?
Also, having balance is a good thing. He's 21, 22 years old.
He'll be fine.
The maturity level of a guy at that age being like, hey, listen, like, I love football. I'm really good at it, but I also have, like, a balanced life.
Also,
to me, that's a pretty fucking good thing to
Also,
have.
Cowherd hates the number one chip on the shoulder guy of all time, Baker
Baker
Mayfield.
Mayfield.
He hates him.
The people who are questioning Trevor Lawrence are stupid, one. Two, the fact he then had to come out and clarify his statements, I don't understand that. Like, what? Trevor Lawrence is the best player in the NFL. If he wants to not have a chip on his shoulder, he doesn't have to. And if he wants to have a balanced life, he wants to have a balanced life. Call me crazy. I think that's a pretty good thing.
When all is said and done, Buddy Johnson will be a top 10 player from this draft. All right. Mac Jones isn't getting the call Thursday night, second-round quarterback. I disagree.
Well, that's
Wilson Reed House says Terrace Marshall should be a top 20 pick, LSU receiver. I think he's going to get the benefit of Justin Jefferson doing what he did last year. Justin Jefferson, 23rd pick, and just dominates. I think Terrace Marshall not as good as Justin Jefferson.
This is another
will
guy
benefit.
from Allie Gleason. This is a guy that some people are like, he could sneak into the first round. Davis Mills. Somehow he's the quarterback that stunk in college.
Yeah.
That like NFL draft Twitter's like, this Davis Mills guy, you never know.
Don't understand.
But nothing
right.
against you, Allie Gleason.
That's enough. That's enough. All right.
NFL show,
Thursday night, NFL draft show. Me, Stephen Che, Roan. You'll be on there a lot.
Do you see
Brandon
the
and I will be on there,
graphics?
yep.
You'll be, huh?
Do you see the graphic for it?
No.
Yeah, you're in the front.
Am I?
Yeah.
Oh hell!
Go
Look at
pull
me.
it up.
Oh, hell.
Oh hell!
It's a very good graphic.
David. There's
Also, do you see who's in the second row?
So on the
gonna have
graphic
to
in the
change
front row,
that.
it's Roan, Brandon, Stephen Che.
Mm-hmm.
The second row is Deion Sanders, myself,
Does that still look like real life?
Big Cat,
You're right beside Dion.
and Dave. No, I mean just like the four of us
Yeah.
back there, and then in the very back row,
Nick Terraney.
Nick Terraney and Fran.
Yeah,
But I mean, still, look at that fucking crew.
that is a good crew.
That's a crew.
That's
a great graphic.
Very excited to
want that.
watch.
Blackman, send me that. I just want that.
You
You
retweeted
have
it.
it in your emails.
I do.
You also
Yes, we all
retweeted
got
it
'em.
earlier.
We also just have it in our email.
Why don't
Oh,
y'all
by the
relax?
way, hey, by the way,
I got to
I forgot
leave.
to tell you this.
Okay.
Katie has passwords to my social media now too, so she's no longer just yours.
That's insane.
Katie, are you on team Brandon?
Yeah.
No, you guys aren't both on the same
I'm on
team.
Team Brandon. I'm
We're
Team
all on the
Kayce.
same team, but she also has my passwords now.
Also, she
I
needs
feel like
something
that's
to
going
do
to
when
take
you
you
go
away
to
from my
Mississippi.
duties.
No,
When have I ever not done your duties?
Fair enough. And in fact, I sent her a picture at 7:00 this morning, and she put it up immediately.
What
I was
it?
awake. I hate the fact I was awake.
It was me. It was me working out in the morning.
People forgot.
people
Yeah.
forgot.
About
that.
Don't make a big. Please don't make a big deal
Hey,
out
we're
of this.
not making a big deal about
God,
it.
God.
No, that's my fault.
My
I
name's
brought
Brandon
it up.
Walker. That's Kayce Smith. That's Jack. That is Katie. We're getting out of here. Unnecessary Roughness.